complete dickheads.
People are attached to, non-human related things. So, and they also attach to characters. How many children are not attached to a particular character? And even now when you're older, you probably had a favorite character or, a favorite character from a movie even. People can become very attached to these things.
Yeah.
So I think being attached to a conversational AI is probably not going to be a surprise. Because they seem to be even more alive, than those characters or those non-human objects.
Yeah.
Whether that's a good or a bad thing, maybe it's even for us as a society to see where do we really draw that line. Where is that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I've got quite strong views that that AI relationships, so AI girlfriends, for example, there's a sort of rise in that. For me, that feels like the line. Like that feels like a bad thing for society. Like the idea that you can potentially have these romantic relationships at scale, that feels like the sort of thing that can really undermine the foundations of a society, right? And they're getting increasingly good. I think what you're doing is it's great. You're solving a problem, and it's a very different thing. And I think there are lots of really amazing applications for these kinds of things. And even friendship, I guess. There are lots of lonely people. Having a friend might be like. A really useful thing for lots of lonely people out there.
I was just gonna. Sorry, I was just gonna add to that. If the AI, the lonely people or people with certain related mental health problems, to give them personalized support by having a friend there, having a buddy who you can talk to. That would definitely be good. These people shouldn't, suffer in silence or suffer alone.
Yeah.
Definitely being able to talk to someone, obviously reliably. The answers need to be, the content there needs to be really spot on. But that is a good thing, right? And then if someone gets, let's say, attached to that AI, I think that's a good thing. However, as you mentioned before, if that then results into a, digital romantic relationships at the cost of actually connecting with other human beings around you, I probably also would say that that's a bad thing. Although maybe now it's still too early to say where we really are. But there have been other companies out there. I don't know if you've heard, you probably have, the Replica. The other company.
I was going to ask you about them. Yeah.
They had to, temporarily remove their, this adult speaking content because but then many users became sad as they were really, getting a strong connection to these almost like pseudo-romantic relationships with these AI characters. And now I recently saw that they are trying to create almost like a side, I don't know if they were going to call it a side business, to go more into those that almost want, a romantic or erotic relationship with an AI avatar. That's an area that I think is a bit dangerous maybe to go into, because that's probably not what AI should be used for. If I think relating it back to our example, our teachers are tools. They are help people learn. That's why they are tools at the moment. Yeah. But by teaching, and that's what we found, by teaching through these human beings, as I mentioned at the beginning, when we rapidly had to expand because of COVID, what we found is the empathy and connection of the learner and the teacher. That relationship, that connection that built up because there was, the curriculum is maybe 9, 13, 17 lessons, not a one-off thing. That really played the biggest role in the enthusiasm of the learners. They're looking forward to coming again, let's say next week, retention of knowledge, applying that knowledge then to a new scenario. And I think that's why we really want our AI to be as human-like as possible, because we really see that it can help engage them. They even ask, deeper questions, so we can see, they actually, they're really learning, they're really understanding what it is that that we are trying to get across, or the teachers are trying to get across. And also there's a little bit of, accountability. So, you are accountable to learn, and you probably put your best, foot forward, and you want to do your best when you actually like that other person that is teaching you. So that's why we think it's so important to have our AI as a human likeness is our North Star, as I mentioned. But I'm not saying relationships, but a personal connect to your digital human teacher is probably a good thing and very possible. Relationship is a totally different game.
Well, I think the difference for me is like we were saying before, what your tool, your product is doing is optimizing the thing that you're optimizing for is quality of teaching, personalization. The thing you're optimizing for is how much of the student's learning, and the kind of the intermediary goal there is, are they enjoying learning? Are they, enjoying interacting with their teacher? Are they, enthusiastic about coming to the next lesson? Like an AI girlfriend, to just stay on that subject for a minute, what's that optimizing for? It's optimizing to addict you, right? Like it's optimizing for hitting that dopamine reward pathway over. You'll know more about that than I will as a neuroscientist. I suspect that's what it's optimizing for, right? To keep you coming back, like social media does with notifications, but just on on turbo,
Exactly. Yeah, as you said, social media, it's the same thing. The very fact that you keep scrolling, and they did a lot of research into, the way people scroll on social media, for example. This is obviously bad. It keeps you getting addicted. People do this the whole day, right? They're on the phone and just go like this. And obviously that is a very negative side of AI, because that's what it's doing, is optimizing, based on your behavior, what you may see, what will be shown to you. And so you keep scrolling because you want to know more. But, if you are getting good search results, for example, or, to increase your efficiency, to become more productive, that's obviously a good outcome. And that's also because of AI. So
yeah, totally. I think the way it appears to me is like it just demonstrates the potential power of AI for good and for ill, right? Which is why it's part of the reason why I sort of set up this podcast, is to kind of try and talk about this and try and understand it. But it seems to me like, just in those two examples that we've just been discussing, you've got a quite a clear demonstration of, potential for allowing all of these kids who don't have teachers to have a really awesome teacher and to learn loads and to pursue their goals in life to a much more successful degree, right? For me, that seems like an unalloyed good. It's just going to iterate over helping them learn better. Then on the other side, quite similar technology in terms of building empathy, in terms of like a human-like avatar who's engaging with you, but a much more terrifying outcome as far as I'm concerned, because it would just, could potentially take loads of people off the mainframe and just, make them terrified of real life relationships. And I think that's quite a worry. So yeah, that's that.
No, I totally agree with you. And I think that, there is also probably an awareness piece to be done.
Complete dickheads.
Hello, friends. If you enjoyed that, then be sure to check out the full episode of my interview with Dr. Pauldy, which drops on Tuesday, the 12th of September. Bye.